time to talk about that because, of course, we've got Boostgate coming through. TCL's number 3 versus DSY, who, by the way, Solari, have already picked up a win today against SK Prime, who we just saw.
Oh.
So that was big.
That's good.
The
That's
DSY,
good beginning for them, yes.
Yeah. Italian pride right there. So we'll see how we go. We're already in pick and ban. Triple 80 carry ban taken off by DSY. So Italian's really looking forward to making sure that Rip doesn't get what he wants, but instead, Zeri first pick on the other side. While DSY are like, hang on a minute. Do we go bot lane priority as well?
They have to, right? They have to match the bot lane prior from the BGT eSports because they play around their bot lane all the time. They're 2v2 on the bot lane. Stop making this face with the coffee. Thank you.
Bad.
Their bot lane 2v2 is really strong. They play
Yep.
around it all the time, and that's why they are first picking Zeri for the over 80 carry.
I mean, I'm going to ask you more questions about someone like Carry as well.
Sure.
I am going to make a statement, though, quickly. Chef in the jungle actually does cook. We've seen things like Nocturne as well. Ivan being looked at here as well, which is another element of a potential... Maybe we could get a swap, but also a hyper carry Zeri lane, as we know. A jungler that pumps up. For the time being, we do get Rakan as paired up in the 2v2. Now I'm just questioning. Early Ari comes through instead, making sure that Slow Q, can't pick it up.
Slow Q is a big Ari player, or at least he used to be. He had a very short but very bright split in Ultra League. He was playing a lot of Aris, a lot of Akalis as well, so I wonder if something of that sort, something more big-ish, assassin-ish is going to come through for him.
It's an interesting takeaway, especially since a lot of the time you need jungle pairing with it. Now, you were talking about it on desk. Vi has got to be a big pick here. Renata gets locked on in. That with the Aphelios is another 2v2 pairing I think we've seen. But what else do you want to see banned here? Because I think Vi is one that unquestionably has to be taken away because it's such a strong mid 2v2. Anything else on the top of your mind here for Desire?
Oh, that's a good question, but I would say Rumble has to be taken off the board.
That's a good
Not
one.
just because for the Boostgate ownership, but just because this is Rumble and we have seen how much he can do on the top lane.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that, I love the Zinjar bomb coming in from Desire just to make sure that the early game jungle is not as available for Boostgate anymore, because that's what they want to be playing around.
I mean, again, for Chef as well, he's got a large champion pool. Zinzao, of course, included in one of those as well, but as further to your point, mid-jungle pairing, really important here, as that one's taken off the board. For Boostgate, I'm kind of questioning what have we got up at the moment? We still need mid, we still need top. Azir's been a really big pick today. You already talked about it. You know, Orianna's another one we saw as well.
Yes, that's a good one.
You also mentioned the Rumble, so let's just see if that gets let through, because that could be an easy fork here, or maybe something, again, that they want to take away from Boostgate, considering they've got a lot of setup for the team fight already.
They do have, but they need a little bit more, because on top of the team fights, what they want to be doing, they want to be rotating their jungler and their mid lane to the bot side of the map. They already have Ari, who is very capable of doing that. I want to see a jungler who's going to be able to match that.
Okay, well, Lee Sin's not going to be that one. That could have been on the board here, taken away. Again, I'm still questioning Azir actually taken
very
as
good,
well.
man. Yes.
All right, so what's left up and available? We already mentioned it before. As you said, setup needs to be there. This is something that's popped through in the LEC as well. Cap's actually pulling this out, I believe, in the grand final. Something as well that against the Ari can be a real nuisance at 6.
Yes, or just in general, champions who value their freedom of mobility. So we have already Zeri, we have the Ari, might be something else on top of that. This is going to be so devastating for them to play around right now. They kind of have to pick this Vi now. Maybe... Oh, that is not Vi. That is so much better, because I was worried about this proactivity of Vi that you were talking about on the desk just a bit earlier. Volibear offers so much more compared to her.
I mean, a little bit of changes as well, you know, in this patch as well. 14-7, the Sundered Sky proc that, or the interaction that the crit was just so broken in volleys 1, 2, 3. I'm glad that's taken away. There's a massive fly in the studio. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen. Hold the thought.
Did you kill it?
It's gone. It's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that.
No!
Look at that. That thing was hurting people. It was a big fly. No longer.
You're a scary man, you know that?
Just for the flies. I just don't want that thing biting me. That was a horse fly. And just like that, Cassante gets locked in.
That's a good break. He's also very annoying to some people, right? Especially on the top lane.
I don't know what's worse. Darius, Okay, so now we've got a matchup at the top side that is kind of important to isolate here, because if that flourishes, if that finds itself ahead for Desire, I mean, that's a very good lane to play.
It has to fly for them, right? It has to be a very good early pot for them.
Has to fly for them.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I see what he did there.
Very well done. I mean, I didn't do it, you did.
The question is whether Imperius is going to do to this Xante the same thing as he just did to that poor fly. Because he has to, right? Darius is such a powerhouse in the early game, and he can still be a powerhouse later on if he's given resources early. While Xante, pre-level 6, he's just going to soften this lane.
The only thing I question here is, how does Darius play into things like Ari Zeri later on as well, right?
That is a good question, but that's why he has Vaker on his side.
True. A lot of isolation there as well.
Yes.
Interesting draft. I mean, for Desire, I think there was a lot of interest coming into the tournament because we're like, actually, this team's not too bad.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of experience on it as well. A lot of players who in the past have been reliable. I know you guys who've been on an EMEA Masters before. You've looked at these players and be like, hang on a minute. There's a lot of people here that we look towards and we say, well, again, they're stars in the field. You know, you were talking about the bottom lane here as well. Set up to succeed, I think, is important. You know, Aphelios, Renata, a lane that, if it finds itself ahead as well, can also just be as impressive. We know there's scaling there as well. I mean, hell, there is hyper scaling on things like Vega, infinite scaling, I should say. Aphelios, it's the same deal.
Honestly, yes. If this game gets to the late game, I would say Desire going to have such an upper hand. They're still going to have an issue with Xante, of course, because Xante in late game can be pretty much unkillable, at least, especially when he's full tanky build. What do you do with that thing? He'll literally do nothing. However, on every other side, they have so much late game damage, and I would want to see Desire playing towards it everywhere except for the top lane, because there, yet again, I want to see Imperius being set up for success. Okay,
well, I just want to see how he goes on this Darius again. There's a lot of different lanes that we're going to break down as we go into game. For Desire, it's the win against SK Prime, beating the Prime League to open up EMEA Masters. That's huge. But guess what? Guess what? We're back because there's a delay. That was a big fly. That was threatening us. That fly, I'm telling you, like, we're not talking about a small, miserable fly. We're talking like there was a horse fly.
Yes, it was.
You know those things hurt. They leave lumps like that.
Really?
Yeah, they're really bad.
I didn't know they bite.
They hurt. They bite, they hurt. They're really, really bad.
Okay, then, thank you.
And, you know, Archon should say thank you to me because that thing was harassing him for the entire of the broadcast.
It was, yes.
So, I don't know. Should be more grateful when he comes back.
Just like you with a coffee,
no? Well, no.
Can I try?
He said cappuccino. You don't want to try that.
You sure?
Look at it.
Okay, it looks suspicious.
Yeah, because, it does suspicious. I don't know if you put anything in it. I'm just going to tell you that he told me cappuccino. That is a black coffee.
I remember.
That is an espresso. Okay. And I know we're in France.
How dare you call it an espresso? It's not worth it.
What do you mean an espresso? Oh, espresso's good?
Espresso's got the
supposed
to be better than this.
Yeah, but no, but it's bitter. It's tart because that's what an espresso is. So, rubbish.
But you keep drinking it. Why?
I do because
Do you want to be miserable?
No. I like coffee. I enjoy coffee. I just don't enjoy that coffee.
But you keep drinking that coffee.
I don't know. It's just like I'm like goldfish. You know how goldfish swim around the same tank?
So wait, you keep forgetting that this coffee is really bad.
Yeah,
and you keep
10 seconds later, I'm like, oh,
something.
coffee. You know, and you come back and you're like, hang on a minute, that coffee was bad. 10 seconds later, oh, there's coffee there. We are waiting for a small delay getting into game. Now, if you have just joined us and you're wondering what's going on, we're into game 4 for the time being of EMEA Masters. We have 6 today. There are alternative games going on at the same time. We're trying to make sure we give you the most interesting one, give you a balance of different teams, and that's why Desire here on the broadcast. Not only for the fact that we haven't seen them today on the English broadcast, but for the fact that they beat SK Prime off show a little bit earlier. Now we're going to see if they can take it to TCL's number 3 seed in Boostgate as well. The Darius is something we were excited about running on in. As we get to level 1, might have to pause and see if they can find anything on Chef. The answer no, as Sky Splitter takes a little bit off the top. Actually, if they're walking into this, I just want to see if the Ari comes on him. No, not going to get too excited.
No, not yet. But at least they have the vision in the enemy jungle. At least they have some information about how Chef is going to move around the map. But honestly, it is pretty straightforward. Starting from the top, all the way to the bottom. Usually it's the other way around, just as the song goes. But for him, it matters to make sure that Roop has as safe of a lane as possible. Okay, so walk me through the early game here, because I think, again, you talked a little bit in draft about how it's important for Desire to look towards top side. I want to talk more about the rest of the map and maybe how Desire, kick things through the lane. Do they need to stay as safe as possible, or what's the angle? So considering they have so much scaling on SlowQ, and SlowQ generally comes online more of mid-game time, he would like to stay as safe as possible during the early stages of the laning phase. I would say the same would go to the bot lane. Zamulik is a very aggressive player, but being at Aphelios, you want to try to stay safe because you're scaling your hit point comes much later. You need to wait for a 2-3 item power spike. Same goes for Zeri, so I wouldn't expect much from the AD carries on the bot lane. I would expect a lot from the supports though, because these supports want to have the fights going between each other. Okay, well, important to note as well, carry on Rakan. So far, even though it's not a lane swap game, Rakan's one of the most roaming support in the game. Yes. And consistently, we want to see how it links up with such an important lane like mid, right? Because if we look on the other side, we look at Boostgate, we know immediately, even though it's not the buy, Volibear linked up with Ari.
you put support into that mix as well and syncing up with jungler. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what Boostgate want to do in this game too.
They want to win.
Yeah, well, what a surprise. I think there's powerhouse in the mid, right? Like, we know the Ahri as well needs to snowball and kind of find through the lane a bit of success too.
Yes, she does want to. However, I'm not sure how possible it's going to be in this particular game, because I would assume DSY trying again to play safe around the mid lane, trying to pivot jungle as much as possible to make sure that this security is provided there for slow queue. That again opens the time for Nakim to try to pivot more towards the bot side of the map. But we will see if it's going to happen. So far, DSY are feeling pretty comfortable there. No vision, but they have jungle on their side, so what should they be worried about?
Bit of a range advantage helping that out as well, with Calibrum especially too. The one thing about the Zeri is relatively short range, so for DSY they feel comfortable in the 2v2. Helps with Renata as well. I think we should add the fact that Renata also able to buff up both the attack speed and the killability.
Killability, that's a good word.
I know, it's a good word, isn't it? I'm not sure if it's a real one. Chef and Rilek might bump into each other here. Scuttle now spawns at 3:30. Ward placed down, just zoning off for the time being, while especially with Boostgate, they have priority towards mid. And plus the Volley Bear in a duel, I mean, all it is looking for a steal here. While Chef knows he has the kill ability if things break out. Actually, Solari, look at this. Mid's roaming down. This might cancel the back.
Yes, it will.
Flails out. Charm's going to come through. Now, this is a tank, but Sky Splitter damage is massive. Flashes away. Luckily, the bailout is there in case it goes any further, but for Boostgate, getting that summoner nice and early, it's a good run.
That is a very good flash to take away, because it provides so much security for their lanes now, knowing that the Sejuani is not going to be able to come to the lanes and provide some shenanigans there. Especially now that the lanes are so much wider, it is so hard for Sejuani to find any early game opportunities without the flash. So Boostgate are just making sure that the early goes safe for them.
I mean, taking away the flash from Sejuani when we know at level 6 and I mean, even now, there's a lot of CC to combo in pretty much all of these lanes too. So there are options slimmed down a little bit more by the flash being away. Not level 6 here, but Ghost's going to be popped. Emperos is thinking about this. He's got the Q down as well. Wait for the apprehend to come through, and all it will take is one more. He flashes, he takes him down. It's a decimation for First Blood.
Bold and beautiful, and that is exactly what DSY want for their top lane. Just a very nice, clean solo kill right there for Imperius. He was a little bit behind in the level when the fight started. He was level 4 going into level 5 Xanta right there. But it is just because he can keep stacking the damage that is ticking over and over. And Xanta at this level in the game has nothing to provide against this damage.
Just look at that Q hill as well. I mean, it's very nice.
Yes.
Almost a response, but flashes just to secure the kill. First Blood here. The ball is rolling. As we said, needed to be here for Desire up in the top side. So very important that Darius now on the board, and especially when he gets towards 6 as well. After double summoner was used by the Cassante in response, there's no Ghost to outspace that lane anymore, and it means that the kill flow could keep on coming as well as we get towards that spot.
The Void Grabs have also been taken by the Boostgate despite the pry on the top lane, but I love the answer from DSY on the bot lane right now. They have consistently been keeping some sort of priority on the bot lane for themselves that allows them to go towards the river whenever they want to, and they want to take the first break. It's the Hextech one, very helpful for them during the lane.
Gotta say, I'm quite impressed. I mean, I know it's only a kill, but again, from what we heard about DSY's first game against SK Prime, this could be a team worth contending. I mean, we're talking about Italy's first and only seed that has come to the tournament as well. And now I am new to EMEA Masters. You know, granted, I've seen parts back and forth in the past couple of years. Italy's always been in the EMEA the tournament as well. Has always had a seed. Do you know the history?
I'm not sure how far it can go into the past, though.
Yeah.
From as long as I have been following EMEA Masters, it has had a seed.
Well, there you go. That's enough
what
for me.
Matters, I guess.
Baby Cage is down. I'm just going to pause on that because History Lesson can wait. Handshake almost into the cage. Actually, that's a fun interaction to talk about. Renata can handshake into the cage.
True.
That is unfair.
What do you mean it's unfair? It's just an advantage that you can use.
It is an advantage. It's just unfair advantage. That's
so
what
if
it
somebody
feels like.
just stays in the cage, you can pull them very nicely and gently towards the borders of the cage and they stay there stunned. Very nice.
Throwing the baby right into the cage. Child abuse, that's what we'll call it here, though. But flash away, Orbital Deception matched in. Chef is at it again, but this time it turns into a kill. Stunned outside turret range, and he's on the board.
They are cooking, and what is the worst about this situation is that there is no flash anymore for Slowq. He tried to get away of the danger. No flash on Chef doesn't bother me as much as no flash on Vigor, because apart from the baby cage, he has no ways of getting away from danger. Next time there is something happening on the mid lane, he's gonna be cooked again.
Very, very true. I mean, for Chef, getting 6 as well, it's another advantage is going to pop up, and going towards mid, the lane that we said mattered so much here for Boostgate in their first game on the English stream. That really opens things up. So a bit of gold flowing back and forth. There's a bit of a lead actually building up for Boostgate as well. And you can see that's because of bottom lane crewing up an advantage. Mid as well with the CS lead. Top despite everything as we get a gate coming through and the apprehend missing. Wow, that's a big tool down here for Imperios. And now onto the jungler. Relics taking the advantage away. Looking for the flip now. Tangyung's going to get it onto this Sejuani. 3 versus 1, no chance. Give the kill over to the Cassante. Yes, they do. And another one on the board here for Boostgate.
He's going to be the sacrificial lamb. He knows that he has to die, but Imperius has to get out of this fight alive, because this is what really matters for DSY right now. Their top laner has to leave.
Yep.
And they are going to be willing to throw resources into making sure that he stays alive.
Well, look at this replay. Imperios, the apprehend is what started off here, Solari. And Tangyung getting out of it just in time means that this was an easy pick off at the end.
Level 6 on Volibear, and it's almost impossible to do anything, especially when it's 2 versus 3. You just have to run away. You have to sacrifice yourself. I
mean, early game, let's be real, it's going pretty good here for Boostgate, despite that early Darius solo kill. You know, the fact that Tangyung has been able to catch up in CS as well. It just kind of shows you. I mean, it's just a story of Cassante, isn't it?
Yes.
Matchups he shouldn't win, he wins. Matchups he should be neutral in, he wins. Matchups he should win, he also wins. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter how many nerfs you put up against him as well. And I can't even remember the last time he got nerfed. Like, we're in 14-7. I'm trying to think patch notes. He wasn't touched in this patch.
No, he wasn't. It was a long time ago that I saw his name in the patch notes.
Couple of patch. Oh, ulti dodged away.
I believe last time he was blocked even.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course he was. Of course he was. Oh, man. Plate taken here by Rup, the bottom side. Now, am I saying that correctly?
You should be.
And I always question because, again,
yes,
as an Australian, I've come into the tournament. I've practiced names. I've come through and I'm like, I want to, do them proud and get it right.
Yeah, I have the same issue.
And then I'm like, now am I saying it right again?
I try to remember, but then my accent comes through usually and ruins everything.
So it's not just me. It's not just an Australian thing. Okay,
but
good.
At least you're a native speaker. You know it.
No, Australian's not English.
I have an excuse. What do you mean Australian is not English?
It's not English. Everyone knows Australian is not English.
No.
We live in the upside down.
Ah, right. Sorry.
And what we speak is crikey. That's about it.
If you say so. Okay.
It is a fact. 6 grubs, by the way, for Boostgate. To mention in the early game. Nice to deny it from something like a Darius as well. And there's some turret taking ability. Chef going to turn the turret off in a second, though. Slowq puts the cage down. Going to get stunned up. Turret now off. Nice dive. And as it falls to the wayside, Chef is going to take 2 for the road, but the kill goes over. This Volibear in the early game is in charge.
And it doesn't matter what Slowq had or didn't have at that point, right? It doesn't matter that he still didn't have the flash by the time he died. It didn't matter that he put in a very nice cage. When Volibear jumps down onto you, there is nothing you can do as Vigor. And that is starting to become a problem for DSY.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want a very safe early game for Slowq, for him just to keep farming up, to keep getting the stacks in, and to keep getting the items in. This is not happening anymore. This has been cancelled. Now they have to find a way to send Slowq to the side lanes to find more farm for him, but will they be able to do so?
Well, Carrigan just going to dodge away from this. I mean, DSY trying to find something in the early game because it's quickly falling out of hand. I was complimenting them and saying, oh, you know, the early game was looking good, but as soon as I said that, flip the script. Yeah, I definitely cursed it because all lane's going bad now, and for the engage over the wall. Rup is in a great spot, cleanses immediately in the bailout, looking for the kill. Zamalek will not have time. Aphias is next to go as well, with Nakyung coming down, getting his own kill finally after 2 have been taken away from him. And this early game is a disaster for DSY, but also good for Boostgate.
It is very good for Boostgate. It is exactly what they want to see happening on the map. Look at them. They have the 6 Void Crabs. They're going to start stacking the Dragons most likely right now because they have, well, a kill on Ahri, a kill on Zeri. That is already helping them to have the Prior on the mid lane and on the bot lane. On top of that, what is most important is that Roop has survived in this fight, even though that was a pretty close one. We're going to keep looking at his health bar right here because his positioning was pretty nice for the majority of the time. But then it looks like Zamulik is trying to find ways to get onto this Zeri because they know if she goes down, most likely the fight is going to go much easier for them. But this cleanse is saving Roop, and then the fact that the bailout did not work out and Zamulik didn't have like this half a second more to kill Zeri, providing Boostgate with such a nice pro.
Now to looking to dive to the top side again. DSY trying to find something, but the all-out's used, and actually with another turret shot, that Sejuani is close to dying herself. Running in is Carry, and he's going to pull off something in this fight, I can guarantee it. And Pross is already ghosted out. Now flashes out over the wall as well. Tangyong was one hit away from taking at least someone down, and Carry with that roam just gets even more. There's nothing on the board right now for DSY that is looking good.
It looks like it's starting to go down for them, unfortunately. Imperius is not able to find anything on the top lane. He's starting to get bullied out of his top lane as well. Everywhere else the turrets are falling, the prior is being lost for them. It is a very worrying side, especially if you consider later team fights, unless Slow Q is going to be ahead, or at least Zamulik is going to have some items, at least 2 items going in for him. The team fights are going to be on the side of the boost gate.
But I mean, getting bursted down is another problem for this Veigar as well. Shirelli's battle song going to get pulled up here. We've seen this a couple of times as well, where you start stacking up the tier, but you also have a supportive item too. Can help a lot out with the spacing here. I think the important part we need to know is, as you said, time needs to come through for DSY, but 2.5k get down in the mid lane. Malignant's already picked up by Nakyung. No Dark Seal to speak of there, which is unfortunate, but as the ult comes through, Rup with a good flash away. Now ulties himself. The cage is down though, and immediately a Primordial Burst makes it so he can't survive. It's a good kill here, a good punish. Turret does go down in the meantime. I would say it looks great for DSY of getting that pick. But again, look at the trade-off of gold. I mean, the turret went down for it. It's still worthwhile for Boostgate.
It's worth a little bit for DSY, but it's worth much more for the Boostgate in the process. It is good for DSY that Slow Q is getting the kill, so he's getting at least some gold coming in, because Shirelli is fine, but he needs damage, and he's delaying his damage right now so much by getting this Shirelli as the first item. So for Boostgate, they're still getting much more on the map. Look at them. They're walking through the enemy's jungle like it belongs to them, and honestly, they have all the rights to do so.
It's like you're going to get spotted on a ward. Now dangerous territory here for Carry, who can't get out. Dunked down by Imperios. There's a kill over to the Darius. But again, I'm not raising the hopes just yet. The early game's still a bit of a mess here. Herald's up in topside too, and that's just going to go here to Boostgate. You can see they're waiting for a pick. They're trying to pull Desire in and see if they take the bait to take the objective. Patience begins here once again as Desire aren't even stepping towards it.
Boostgate are patient, but do they have enough vision to justify this patience? Because they don't see any approaches from DSY towards the Herald. If they want to catch them somewhere, if they want to have a good pick, Ahri desperately needs to have vision if she wants to go for those picks on the enemies. They have nothing, and they're just starting the Herald like that, but honestly, again, they are justified when doing so, because there is nobody coming their way to try to stop them.
Not at all. I mean, Herald goes down, Horizon Focus gets picked up. Look at a replay here. This was Carry getting caught out top.
And he sees Imperius. By the moment he goes here, he knows that he's going his way. He doesn't see Slow Q, however, and that might be the thing that's stopping him. He goes right into the border of the cage and dies there, stunned and probably ashamed.
And again, like he talked about it, Slow Q got the kill before, Imperius getting the kill. Kills are going on the right Carry.
Yes.
But the problem is it's still just an early game that is 5.5k gold behind. Dragon stacking denied, so it's not like DSY getting into the late game are going to be able to flex between the Baron trade that we've seen on like 3 or 4 dragons. We then also have to look at what's happening with all this gold going into Boostgate, and is it going into the right members? Well, absolutely. 2 items here for the Ahri. Nakyung just picked up Horizon Focus, level 12, by the way. Slow Q is only level 10. So you've also got to look at experience here and how fed this 50 CS lead of an Ahri is against Slow Q. So how do you deal with her is a new question.
The cage is going to help. The combination of cage plus Renata is going to help, but the problem is you need to get to her. You need to catch her off guard.
How do you step up to her?
Exactly, that is the problem. You don't.
Ephias is level 7, Nakyung level 12. That's a
Level
5-level lead. Look at this, cage over the wall. They're like, oh my god. They are paranoid for a good reason.
They are, but is it good enough reason? You just throw out the cage, the cooldown on this thing is massive, and you're left without your main tool for such a long time, and you still don't know where the enemy is.
That's why I guess they're grouping up, aren't they? 5 members here, clearing out vision, trying to find something, and then moving towards mid. But Roop's not going to give them that advantage. Instead, just backs away after clearing the wave. And remember, it's because Dragon's here. DSY wanted to find a pick, it looks like. in front of this dragon so that, again, they could start that stacking again.
They already have one dragon. They want to keep going because the soul is going to be really helpful for them. The mountain soul is going to provide them with enough survivability.
There's
Not
that
like
charm.
that!
Again, this is the level lead coming into action, plus the items, Horizon
Half
focus.
HP already gone.
So there goes
Fernando
Dragon.
is not a player anymore.
Not at all. You know what's been rough as well? I mean, we haven't seen DSY getting the opportunity to find themselves an ulti as, okay. TP topside to hold the wave while Tagyung is going to pop the ghost towards mid. But DSY are now found out. Dragon's going down, and all it cost was one summoner from the top laner who got his demolish off on the turret anyway.
So it's a very nice exchange again for BGT. Over and over, they're finding exchanges with Desire that are so much more beneficial to the Turkish third seed compared to the Italian team. And this is the Italian team that just beat SK Prime. I was expecting a lot going into this game. So I wonder if they are making mistakes or if it's BGT just being completely boosted in this tournament.
I mean, look, for BGT, I think the thing is they've come in with a relatively standard draft.
True.
And for Desire, they tried to throw a spanner in the works with a volatile topside, which again almost got solo killed itself. For mid, that just got bullied so hard. I mean, this is a mid diff of a game, it feels like, as Herald gets to charge in. Bot side turret almost gone. Nakyung is the one holding here for the time being, but look towards mid, look at top. The setup here, the macro is beautiful. BGT are going to get inner turret. Top is going to be the transition here. You see 3 members moving up, or at least threatening. As the waves crash in, it's just more gold in their back pocket. We're now at 6,500.
This is such a hard game though for Desire, especially because they don't have any answer, especially now when Through is on the bot. They might not have any answer at all.
Spirit Rush. Charm doesn't connect though. That's big, but still running under turret. Chef doesn't care for the time being. It's a decimate angle, but Empress after he heals on up, doesn't pull the trigger on that ulti at all. BGT move as a 4-man unit. Then the push-up comes through mid as well. They're not going to overstay. That's the thing that we've noticed so far as well. They don't overstay. They don't overcommit. I think that's another part that we've seen so far that this team has shown a bit of cleanliness in.
They move very fast around the map. They are all the time at different parts of it. They move around it very safely though, because always you see at least any carry is going to be shadowed by somebody on the team. And then they disappear from that part of the map immediately when they've done what they wanted. The timings are very good. They know their limits because yes, they are heavily ahead compared to Desire right now, but a good pick with a cage from Slowq is still going to take them down. And there are some very juicy shutdowns on the heads of their everybody, actually. I'm looking across the map. All of them have some shutdown on their heads.
I mean, for a reason, right? But again, we already said, how do they get it? We're waiting for this next Baron to spawn, or rather the first. 40 seconds till it comes up. Dragon's up in 3 minutes, so time is a bit far apart. Also, just noticed Navori Quickblade's picked up by Ruip, so 2 items versus 1 in a bit. And for now, BGT, you can see back up in this topside jungle. They cleared all the wards and they're looking for a pick. Quickness already burned out and hostile takeovers there, but Through carry finds it. The ulti over the wall. The cage doing nothing, and Zamalek also flashing away. Slowq runs out with the hair of his chitty jitters. Rylak now off the wing, almost dead to a sky split up. The bailout wouldn't have done a thing, but as they run back to their base, tail between their legs, I mean, the story goes on. BGT ain't taking no for an answer as Inhibitor falls next.
And again, they know their limits so well because the engage was a very risky one. In normal situation, if the teams were equal, that would have been a very risky move because the follow-up was slow. The TP was just starting to come. Everybody else was a little bit too far. But they know they can do it because they know nobody on Desire's side has enough damage to kill anybody going into them.
Not at all. I mean, you talk about it in draft again. Solari talked about it in the early game. We said, okay, top's a condition, but also for mid as well. We know there's scaling elements there. They need a bit of time to... Slowq has not been given anything in this lane. And I said it before, it feels like mid-diff. I think it is definitely mid-diff. Nakyung has put on a clinic here in this Ahri. And the crazy thing is he got a bit of jungle support from Chef. But it was a gank or two. He was already taking over the lane individually himself on this pick, on this matchup.
Yes, he was dominant on the lane even before the ganks happened. Gank just helped to solidify his lead that he already was having against Slowq. This was just a lane won from the very beginning for BGT. And that is a game that might have been won from the very beginning despite that very nice early solo kill on the top lane.
Again, for BGT, singing their praises here. Double Dragon picked up. They got a minute 20 till it looks like they'll pick up the next one. But Baron's also there. That's a threat that, for now, look at DSY. How do they walk into this area?
They don't. They have no way of getting into it.
That's your perfect answer. Observers like, look at them come to die. Athias, well, set every which way. Charmed up. Amazed that he's still alive for the time being. But uh-oh, there's Nakyung. No bailout for you. And right into melee range, gets the charm down. Reset, sitting for the Spirit Rush. The Slowq is slowly going the wrong way. Imperios is the next knock-up, and this Darius has had no chance to play the game outside the lane. Great healing. A dunk down would be impressive if the game wasn't so far done. Split their hair, split them apart, and desire your death as they run for the hills. It's Boostgate with a very fun name. Also a very fun game.
They are boosting themselves to the gate of the enemy's base, and they are taking it down. Compared to the previous game, this one feels so short, but so packed with action. 10-3, unless something is going to happen right now with this Berserk coming in from Renata. But no, that is set and done. Boostgate are getting finally the first victory of the day for them.
Yeah, it's a big start for them, especially after they start off with a loss. But taking down Desire as well, who were looking like, hot contention, is surprising. I think we've got to be real. Mid-diff. Mid-diff
Yes.
felt very, very real.
It did.
Nakyung has